supervised all of you, that was a wonderful asset that you brought to the table.
I will continue. So definitely I agree with Matan and Nancy, what you just have said. The shlichut was really a turning point for me. First, it helped me develop my personality as a human being, and also even to change my career path in a way, because I don't know if any of you remember, I served as an officer in the IDF for 4 years, and I taught soldiers computers, IT, DevOps, all the stuff. So naturally, I thought I will find myself studying computer science, but I came back to Israel after the shlichut, and I chose to study education, sociology, anthropology, and at the same time started working for the Jewish Agency, and where I stayed for 7 years. So that was a huge change in my life, in my career. In a way, working for Jaffe was very important for me. So it kept me connected to what we did. It kept me connected to the power of community, to Jewish communities, the Jewish story, the Israeli, everything together. Just recently, like 3 years ago, I moved to high tech, which is a huge difference. I spoke with Adam today, this morning on the phone, and we talked about it, that we really miss like being part of this. So yeah, I think for every decision I take, in a way, it has a huge impact. So
Great.
So
okay, Adam, go for it. I will be after.
Thanks, Tal. I just, first of all, of course, professionally, it built me. If I can look back, I actually, being the first shaliach, made me fall in love with that concept of building things for the first time, and all of the positions that I've took up until now, even my current position is that position. Is take something and pave a way. But that's in a shorter sentence. Identity-wise, and also me, the Jewish-wise, I don't know how to say this. You know our role, and I'll be short, Tal. I apologize for stealing your turn and being long. Well, I always say this, and some of you maybe heard me. Our role, ironically enough, was to come to a Jewish community in the diaspora and be the connection to Israel, and make sure Israel is alive, and teach about how holidays are celebrated. But I left the shlichut, like I came to teach and I came out taught. I came to bless and I left blessed. I became, I received so much from the community and from the values of the community, and from the notion of a Jewish community living abroad, that I took it with me. I brought it to Israel. And I'm sure all of us here and all of the shlichim, so in that sense, the shlichut is alive, and it's a mutual beneficial concept. That's it. It's important to say that.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you. You know, I'm gonna say, I remember a conversation we once had, and I'm gonna, you know, make it public in terms of not just Adam, but for all of you. Did you feel like your Jewish identity, or even your religious, your relationship with being Jewish, whatever that means to you, whether through religion or just Jewishness, whatever that means, did you feel that alter? Did that alter in any way from your experiences being here? Adam, you're kind of shaking your head.
Yeah, definitely. on so many levels. You know, first of all, being Jewish and being Israeli was really two of the same things growing up in Israel. And you always think from your point of view standing here, and all of a sudden I'm part of a much, much larger group that is not bound by physical borders. That is one. Second, of course, you know, the reform movement and the conservative movement is something that I was not exposed to at all. We are not exposed to at all in Israel, unless you're very lucky. So realizing that there are many, many ways to enrich this Jewish world. We are celebrating holidays different now at our house, because I brought from Stanford certain ideas and notions and values back to my family. You know, my father grew up Hasidic, and he adopted from me certain notions that I brought from Stanford. So that's unbelievable.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, Adam. Wow.
Wow, super exciting. And I think that it's very, very similar, I think, to all of us, because as Adam says, being Israeli and being Jewish, when you're born here, it's kind of like one piece. You don't really think about it. You don't really choose it. It's just the way you are. And coming back from the shlichut and understand that people are choosing it, and to choose to be part of this community and to work hard for making this community relevant, important, and strong is not something that you can take as advantage. And I think that the power of the community is one of the things that I came back and I felt that this is something that I want to be part of. So when I moved back to Israel, I first moved to live in Jaffa, close to the sea, actually. But after a while, we decided to move to a moshav, and one of the reasons for that was to look for a community. So I feel that the community in Stanford was so different and so unique that it makes me the feeling that I want to look for something. Maybe it's not going to be similar, it's going to be something else, but some community that I will be part of. And this is something that I feel that I took out of the time that I was with you guys.
Wow, Tzahal, thank you for sharing that. I personally feel blessed to be part of our Stanford community for just those reasons, that it's, you know, it's a really small town feel when you're inside the doors of the JCC. And that is so important, I think, you know, you're raising your two beautiful daughters. I mean, it's a wonderful thing to feel that connectiveness and that, you know, you have people around you to support you and be with you. And so I'm glad you found that. Beautiful.
So I'm going to connect and say that you asked earlier about Judaism and about how we feel being Jewish, and just this, it just made me remember that this Passover I took. I think I was inspired by things that I've done at the JCC, and I asked all of the family members to send WhatsApp and say how they feel, what they got released from, what they still feel slaves to, you know, in the Passover environment or inspiration. So they all send it to me, and then we put it in the Haggadah, and I have an uncle that wants to read the Haggadah very fast and get to the part where we eat. And I made them stop and read what they sent, and it was very special. And I think that was a moment that I got connected to Judaism in a different way, not a way that I grew up knowing. And I think it's because it's mostly because the experience I had at the J. I think that's it for now. And
That's beautiful. Thanks. Thanks, Noah. I'm glad. Sounds very meaningful. Thank you. Beautiful. Anyone else have anything they want to add? I'm gonna open it up to questions or comments from folks that are joining us. I think what we'll try to do is if you want to unmute yourself, and we'll just try to take turns and be respectful of each other. But if anyone has any specific questions, I can talk forever, but I'd love to engage you guys to be a part of this conversation. So feel free to ask any questions.
Yala, Marisa Kurtz, I see you there. Ask a question.
Okay, is there a question in the chat? Okay, nope. All righty. Don't want people to be shy.
I'll ask the question. Good to see all of you. I know you probably remember me a little bit, but I just wanted to make sure that you all have been vaccinated.
Do you want to talk a little bit about COVID in Israel, what it's been like for you in particular, and the whole vaccine? You know, was that easy for you to get, harder to get? You know, tell us a little bit about Israel and COVID.
Well, as you probably know, it's very different than in any other state or place in the world. We're all vaccinated. And I think more than that, and I take I speak for us all, and I hope I represent us all by saying that this is one of the things that are a general consent in Israel. We all agree, there is like a consensus. The anti-vaccination group, or whatever it is that I see in States and in Europe, it's not so strong here. It exists. And people, there are some people on Facebook, some Facebook groups, and people say, don't get vaccinated because, this and that. But overall, in general, and we don't have a lot of things, as you know, that unite us, right? Especially in politics. But I think, and you won't hear me say that a lot, this is something that we have to thank Bibi for, because we're all vaccinated, and I think we're all happy with it, and we feel lucky that we are able to move on with our lives and take care of the people we love because of the vaccination. And I hope you all agree, guys, because if anyone here is anti-vaccine, I'll talk with you later. I see a question, are the ultra-Orthodox getting vaccinated? Hey, Joy. I think they do. I'm not sure the numbers, if anyone here knows better. I assume that maybe it's a little bit less, but we all are. Like, if you see the numbers, then you assume that it has to be that they get vaccinated as well, because you see the number that kind of measure how you affect other people, and it's very low, and we are moving forward, like numbers are really good, and it has to be that they are vaccinated, otherwise we were, but there are still, areas where I assume cities that are slower in their progress, but in overall, it's very good.
What was the process for you guys to be vaccinated? Did you go to your local doctor, or how did that come about? Like, how was it executed in Israel?
Man, so just to give you an ultra-Orthodox question. First, I don't know if you can you hear me?
Yeah, a little bit louder if you can, or.
Yeah, I'll try. Yeah. How is it?
Okay, keep talking and let's hear.
All right, so so Joe, hi. The Orthodox have been vaccinated less than the general population, still more than you would expect. Like we're the high 60s or low 70s in percentage. So that's still impressive, only not as impressive as the general population. And what was the other thing you asked, Nance?
just want to get a sense, like here in the States, you have to get an appointment to get, online or through the phone to get an appointment. And there are different sites popped up all over, all over Stanford, all over the area. How was it distributed in Israel? Was it through your physician? Was it through your local health center? How was it distributed?
So our entire health system, our communal health system is fundamentally different than the US. And we have like 3 major clubs or groups that you join. And so it goes through them. I will say that getting the appointment was the shortest conversation I've ever had in my life. I literally called them and I said, "Hi, am I eligible?" And they said, "Yeah, when do you want to get it?" And that was the end of the conversation. So it was very, very quick and seamless.
That's wonderful. So people were really readily able to get the vaccine. They really were able to get their appointment at least. So in the States, it's kind of hit or miss. So it took a little longer for some were lucky to kind of get in there. Doses were available, they're not available. So it was kind of an ebb and a flow. So just curious about, the distribution being a little different. Wonderful, wonderful. All right. Any other questions from those that are attending? Please feel free. This is your time to reconnect, or, Gail, I appreciate your starting the conversation about COVID.
The Goldblum want to ask.
Shalom, everybody. I just want to say how happy I am to see you all. I'm going to try not to cry. I miss you. And Jeff and I have said that once all this crazy nonsense is over, the first place we're going is Israel. 2 reasons. First of all, we haven't been there in a while. And second of all, you're all vaccinated, so we'll feel totally safe. And just thrilled to see everybody's faces. And I also want to ask you guys, have you been able to travel? Like, what's the ruling with leaving the country and seeing family and all those things?
Great question.
So traveling in Israel is pretty open. You can do everything. We had some shutdowns, but it was before the massive vaccination process. Since then, we're pretty open. And outside of Israel, the skies are kind of opening now, but it's still limited. So we can fly, I think, only for some countries, and you're kind of have some steps that you need to do when you come back. That's kind of how it goes now. But I don't know who is traveling and where, because you're kind of not sure where it's safe and where it's not safe to go. So
Carl, you have a lot of travel, or you did a lot of travel in your business and in your work life. Are you still, I'm assuming that obviously that's been suspended for a while, but is that still going to be part of your portfolio as the skies open up, so to speak? Are you able to, is that what you're going to be doing, some more traveling?
So I've done a lot of traveling to Europe and to the US in my work. In the last year, I haven't traveled anywhere. And I'm actually leaving soon, so I'm switching work. So I still don't know. It will be a new place, new situation. We'll see.
Right. So have any of you been to Dubai or have plans to go to Dubai? I feel like that's what I keep hearing. All the Israelis are now traveling to Dubai.
So the organization I just started working for, which, by the way, Nancy, you asked if the skills the Shlichut gave us helped us in our life. So I'd say I got the job thanks to the ability to present and to stand. I had to do a presentation and stand in front of like the people in the company and present them with like a whole program, like a simulation that I built. And that's thanks to you rehearsing in your office for hours before each and every program for the first year at least. Did something, that's for sure, because it worked. But I was saying that my organization, once the Abraham Accords happened, they kind of took it and they decided that they're going to use the fact that something so, revolutionary is happening. I'm very excited to say that a week ago, we sent a group of overall 30 influencers with 30 influencers from Dubai and Morocco as well, and like Bahrain and a lot of different, like all the area there. And they have overall of 15 million followers in the media. And we had them, I'm not joking, commemorate the Holocaust, and they did a ceremony there in Dubai, remembering the Holocaust. And this was like something that, you know, if you would tell me a few years back that it will happen, I would think it's a joke. So I had to say, you said Dubai, and I'm like, I had to mention it.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Wow. Wow. Anybody else have any other questions?
I just wanted to say one thing. This has been wonderful. It's so nice to see everybody. I've had a wonderful relationship with each of you when you were here, and I do want to say that if it were not for Nancy and her wonderful personality and her passion and her dedication, that none of this would be. And none of you would have wanted to stay and wanted to support the next one, to say, yes, you should definitely come. So I want to thank Nancy and give her kudos or what have you.
Thank you,
Joy,
Joy.
I want to totally support that. So
Thank you.
Nancy makes that personal connection, so it is a lasting experience. So
And you guys don't even know the amount of time and efforts and hours. Like really, I never had anything like it. She was a boss, she was a family member, she was a mom, she was a friend, and really no words could explain me entering your office, my queen, I call her until today. Because walking into her office, no matter what day I had, if it was a good day or a bad day, I would always leave her door. And I know I'm going to make her cry because someone put it on the chat. She cries all the time, and that's okay. Always leaving her doorstep with a smile on my face. And she always had her back. And I hope, I could only hope that we were able to give you at least half of what you gave us, because this experience would be nothing without Nancy. And if someone had a doubt, and now we put it on the table, it's all Nancy, because you know what they say, behind every successful man or a woman, there is someone, that someone, at least for me, was you, Nancy.
Thank you. Thank you. All of you really have, I can't even say the words, the amount of love that I have for each one of you and pride, and, you know, is just enormous. And I have grown exponentially from each of you. Each of you have, you know, I think I'm not the only one who feels more enriched in terms of who they are as a person, who they are professionally. So I know that you have impacted my life, but I know you've also impacted others. And so you really have been a gift to the JCC, a very precious gift, each of you. So thank you, though. What other kinds of questions or comments do we have? I feel like it's a precious time to be together. We have a few more minutes, and would love any other profound questions that people might have about whether personally about any of them, or in terms of Israel, what's happening. All right, well, I guess that we can, I always hate to say goodbye. This makes me very sad. My thought is that we could absolutely continue dialogues like this over the course of time. Again, thrilled to have all of you share what you've been doing now. Please know that you always, as I said before, have a home. Your heart is with us in Stamford always. And all of you from affiliated with the JCC, whether you're a member or not a member, you all create this family. So the feeling and the connection that we have to these 7 wonderful people is really a testament to all of you and your ability to reach out and connect with them when they were here. I hope those relationships continue. I know they do for so many of you. It's been an absolute pleasure to connect. I hope you join us for some other opportunities. As I said, we have next Sunday at 11 a.m., a great opportunity to speak with some Tzahal folks. The impact that these 7 people had on Tzahal was incredible. And in fact, I just want to say that for the first time ever, and it's sad that none of you are here, schools have asked for you. So just know that that's a testament to you guys, what you have developed and how you have continued to grow. The connection between Stanford and Israel is a beautiful thing. And job well done, really, each of you, job well done. So join us again next Sunday if you can at 11 a.m. and then the following Sunday. As all of you continue your wonderful careers and your wonderful life, I wish you blessings. I wish you great prosperity and success. And I know that each of you have what it takes to create brilliance around you. Really, it's been a marvel to get to learn and grow with you. So thank you all. And thanks everybody from Stanford for being with us.